This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Is the man, the myth, the legend that is Alain Poupart. How you doing, baby? You doing all right?
Yep, doing great. Yourself?
I cannot complain.
There you go.
I'm just kind of, I guess, getting through this final week, and then we can start talking. The good thing, by the way, with you is that you're a draftnik. So, you and I are going to have a lot of draft talk over the off season because unlike the garbage local radio that you have here, all of our guys are year round. It's not a in season thing and all that. No. Insiders will be here all year because football is all year. So and everything goes well, then Al and I will be doing shows together over in the combine. You know what I mean? So it's looking forward to all of this. And by the way, did you read the article from Barrett Sports Media?
But I did. Very nice.
Very
Very nice. Well done.
Very nice. Very nice. And we appreciate the love. It's nice that nationally they notice what we're doing, not locally,
Yep.
but nationally it's nice that they notice actually what we're doing here.
No, big time.
Yes. That's a good thing. All right, brother. So let's get into this now. You start feeling for what's going on with this team. What are you hearing on any talk of any kind of changes? And obviously people are talking about either the head coach, the general manager, or both, or neither. So what are you hearing?
Nothing yet. And it might be a case where we're never going to hear anything and it'll just be status quo.
It happens. Okay, or it happens.
No, that's correct. That very well could happen like that. Other point I wanted to make is you're talking about like getting ready for the last week of the regular season. I'm used to this, but man, those weeks where you're getting ready for the last game and it doesn't mean anything, those are rough.
Yeah.
Especially this year when the Dolphins don't even benefit with a loss because Philly has their first round pick. So there's literally nothing to play for. Okay, having said that, here's the thing. There's so many ways to look at what Brian Flores did, and I know you're not a huge fan, but I'm sure you're aware they win Sunday. They will have consecutive winning seasons, and I know 9-8 is big whoop, but still, nobody's done that here since 2002, 2003.
But everybody else had 16 games. So he's cheating.
Correct. That's fair.
Oh, so it's really not. It's not he's accomplishing something with an advantage. So it's really not an accomplishment.
Okay, correct. Okay, but
it's the guy that gets the home run record with 162 instead of 154.
Fair enough. Okay, but then you also can't overlook the fact that he brought the team back and nobody quit on him. And even though they got smoked by Tennessee, it wasn't an issue of the players.
Aren't we tired of that already? Aren't we tired of that? They didn't quit on
again.
They didn't quit on Gase. They didn't quit on Sperano. None of that meant anything.
But no, they quit on Gase. Here's the thing, and that's part of the reason.
One year they didn't, right?
But the last year they did, and he was gone after the season. Now here's the thing.
No, I get it, but he started 1-4, then went 9-2, which is better than anything.
Correct. That was his first year. And he finished 10-6, which was the exact record that the Dolphins had last year.
Okay, but if he's so great, he lost them the following year. That's my point. It means nothing. That's my point.
I understand that. Here's the other point. Look at the pattern that's been established since he's been owner. Steve Ross has had the following head coaches, and the pattern. Tony Sperano was fired during his fourth year. Joe Philbin fired during his fourth year. Adam Gase is the only one who didn't get a fourth year. So if you go by a pattern, and again, in the case of Adam Gase, he lost his players at the end of that third year.
Yep.
Okay. And there was a quote unquote star candidate because like him or not, at the time, Brian Flores was a very hot coaching commodity. Is there that kind of guy right now out there that Stephen Ross might look at and go, oh, well, that's it. That's the guy we have to go get it. I'm not so sure. So
but I don't want that. See, that's the difference between you and me. I want a Jim Caldwell, a Jack Del Rio.
I didn't say I wanted that.
Okay.
Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say I wanted that. I said that was the deal. And now this year, there's not that guy. So it's very easy for me to say or to believe that. And yeah, absolutely, Brian Flores and Chris Greer will get another year. I absolutely could see that. And again, other than with Joe Philbin, the next to last game in 2014 when they beat Minnesota on a block punt in the final minute, when Stephen Ross went into the locker room, told the reporters, I'm going to give you an early Christmas present so you don't have to work so hard. Joe Philbin will be back next year. Since that time, there's never been any sort of public endorsement toward the end of a coach's season, and Brian Flores still has 2 years remaining on his contract. So to me, it's very possible that there'll be nothing said, nothing happens, and it's Flo and Greer coming back in 2022, which we're already 2022, but next season.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the front office. I believe in all three guys. And if they're watching, I just want you to know, Chris, Reggie, Marvin, you guys are terrific. You want to bring this guy back? You're all getting fired next year. Just want you to know, I've seen this story before. And I've watched it, and the screwed up part about the history of the Miami Dolphins is no head coach that's been fired has ever left and gone to have success at another pro team as a head coach. It's never happened. Yet, the last three personnel guys are all thriving with their new teams. Spielman, Ireland, and Hickey. All right? So, I keep reminding people, sometimes, you know what? Maybe we've been screwing up on the personnel side because those guys were actually young and good at their jobs. They just made their mistakes. And although Hickey, I think Hickey actually had two decent drafts, man. And he was really treated unfair. But anyway,
here's the problem.
I like our personnel, and I think the same thing's happening again. Coaching ain't jack shit. Personnel's fine, and coaching is what's getting in the way, but that's just me.
Okay, but the problem is then if you're separating the two, and here's the thing is my belief is that Flo and Greer, and I've said this many times, Flo and Greer are like this, that no personnel decision gets made without Flores' stamp of approval. Right. So
but I don't believe that relationship is like that anymore. Just so you'll know. I'm
not convinced of that. And if
I don't believe they're locked anymore. I don't believe that.
Well, I don't believe that. I'm not convinced that Chris Greer could fire Brian Flores without Stephen Ross's stamp. That it would come from.
You're 1,000% right, dude. Of course, you're right.
But here's the other thing. Also, if we're going to throw praise on the scouting department and the front office and the scouts and all that for the 2021 draft, which looks like an absolute home run right now, somebody's got to take the hit for 2020. Because you have a 5th overall pick, which is still a question mark. 18
I'm not
pick.
done with the quarterback. I'm not done with the quarterback. And
I said, but right now you can't say he's anything but a question mark.
Okay.
As the 5th overall pick, that's and fine. Then your number 18 pick. Right now, not looking good.
That one's bad. That one's.
And
bad.
your number 30 pick has been a bust.
I don't know.
And you left out. And you left, dude. It's 2 years in, and you left many running backs on the board when could not have been more glaring of a need.
You're conveniently leaving out Raekwon Davis and Brandon Jones. Because that's
for 2020. But I'm going to look. I'm going to look at the 3 first-round picks.
No, but don't say 2020 and then don't mention that there's 2 good picks already on there.
There's 3 good picks because Robbie Hunt's a good player.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3. So if you hit on Tua, I don't give a shit what happens with Iggy and Jackson, dude. They can kiss my ass. If you hit on my starting strong safety, you got me a starting defensive tackle. You got me a starting quarterback and a starting guard. I'm fine, dude. You got 4 players out of that draft. I'm fine. If you actually hit on Iggy, then it becomes a monster draft overall. Forget about Jackson. He looks like he's shot. Somebody's going to have to build his confidence back up again. I don't know if it can be done or whatever. But Iggy, I can't pass. Iggy and Hunter, I can't judge these guys until they literally play the game. And then I can find out.
It's been 2 years for Iggy. Okay. And I want to give the kid the benefit of the doubt. I want to give the benefit of the, and I understand they have 2 really good starters.
And they'll trade one of them this year. You'll see. They'll trade one of those dudes this year.
Well, they're not trading Byron Jones because he's not tradable with that contract. So
you know who's getting traded, bro.
Well, I know you think X is getting traded, but I think you're going to see that.
No, he's getting traded.
That defense, with the way they are playing, is not going to be as efficient without X on the thing. And I understand if Tua becomes a stud, a bona fide franchise quarterback, I'll let go of the Jackson and the Benagati trade. And if we mention Jackson, we have to mention the fact that he came at the cost of Minkah Fitzpatrick because Flo couldn't make it work. But that's obviously not.
And that's a great job by the front office to make up for. But that's a great job by the front office because Flo screws up the relationship. They lose leverage because they're forced to trade him, and then they replace them with a kid that might be just as good. That's pretty awesome. I mean, how many front offices?
Holland? Yeah, no, that's great. I'm not. Yeah, that's great.
How many front offices can be put in that terrible position and make up for it? Not a lot of them, man. I'm sorry. The Dolphins have drafted two of the best young safeties in the NFL in the last 5 to 10 years, bro.
Yep.
I mean, that's impressive, man. So that's why I'm not ready to give up. And dude, we killed Ireland, and I was wrong. And we killed Spielman, and I was wrong. I didn't kill Hickey, but the other two we killed. And they went on to be good people in their business that they know what the hell they're doing. That's why I keep thinking we're making the same mistake over and over again. And I'd rather stay personnel and say, okay, guys, go get yourself another coach. And if
you want to keep throwing flowers at Ireland, this is where I'm going to bring up the other side. And he's also responsible for the worst draft pick in the history of the team, probably.
That's fine. Dude, you're not going to be perfect, my brother. You know, hey,
dude, I understand that.
Don Shula,
the guy who's the complete. Who's an absolute bust, and in so many ways, starting with forget the fact that he didn't pan out, the fact that you draft him to play a different position than what he played. I mean, it's almost as bad as taking Jamar Fletcher over Drew Brees when he played zone in college, and he becomes.
I get it. I get it. Don Shula trades for Robin Senline, bro. I mean, and nobody's perfect, my man. Shit's going to happen.
Neither is Brian Flores. Neither is Brian Flores.
Pat Riley is going to sign Whiteside and Johnson and the other idiots, and they were stupid contracts. And he's still great. You're going to have your brain fart moments. My point is we overreacted on Ireland. We overreacted on Spielman and even Hickey. And they have all gone on to have success, and they have been wanted by other people. None of the Miami head coaches have ever surfaced again as a head coach anywhere else. And right now, to me, it seems like it's the same thing over and over again. And in my eyes, obviously, it's Flo in the way of their front office. It's them signing Flowers and then Flo not wanting him. Flo wanting Kyle Van Noy and then not wanting him. Those are cap problems that he creates for the team and offensive line problems. I'd rather have Eric Flowers at left guard for the whole season than Austin freaking Jackson. So he screwed the team with that. This week, Gesicki said they didn't have a game plan for the rain. Dude, you and I would stand there and watch trainers dip the ball in a water bucket for freaking Wanstead. So when he knew he was going to a crap place, his guys practice with a wet ball. They practice with a wet ball. You know, come on. You know, it's like these are things that, to me, this is a guy that's out of his element. And we have created this soap opera, and I was to blame for it, thinking that he was in tune with everything and all that. Those guys don't like him in that building. The players don't like him. The assistant coaches don't like him. He is a tough person to work for, dude. And if you're not getting the results, you're not going to be able to play that game that he's trying to play. So to me, that's what we're watching again. We're making the mistake that we're lumping everything together when I think the real problem is the coaching staff.
Okay, two quick points, if I may. Number one, I don't recall Rick Spielman taking a whole bunch of flack when he was here because it was Wanstead who had the final juice on personnel decisions, I believe, until the final year. So I don't recall that. I mean, that could be.
They lumped them in with both, but yeah, I see what you're saying. But remember, there was a power struggle that Rick had.
And I think the last year they removed the personnel authority from Wanstead, so it would be just that 1 year. Point number two, the whole Gesicki thing was toward the end of a very brief post-game session where he's pissed. The offense looked like like shit. Apparently, it's fair.
Say it, bro.
Look
Say
like
it.
absolute shit. And I don't. To me, it might have been just as much as like I'm not getting into this BS. So I'm going to say, because the question was very specifically, do you guys have an alternate game plan for? Are we expecting, when the forecast all along called for rain, are you really do you really want to believe for a millisecond that the Dolphin coaching staff had no contingency, had no idea?
The way Tua played.
Preparation? Come on.
The way Tua played. Do you think he practiced with a wet ball throughout the week? Just tell me that part right there.
If he didn't, it's criminal negligence, and that would almost justify firing on the spot if he didn't.
Okay, well, I mean,
he certainly looked like somebody who didn't.
Well, I wish somebody would have asked the coach today to follow up on the Gesicki thing, because nobody's asked the coach that. And hey, coach,
chances are you wouldn't get a direct answer.
Did you have Tua practice with a wet ball last week? You know what I mean?
That would have been a great question.
And you know what he's going to say, right? He's going to cowardly back out of that and say, "Hey, we're on to New England. We're not worried about what happened last week. Hey, it happened. Whatever happened last week, we prepared this, that." And he won't give in. Why? Because he knows he's going to look terrible by telling you, "No, we didn't have Tua practice with a wet ball."
Because I can't believe that. I mean, to me, it'd be like a high school coach would know to do that. A high school coach would know to do that. Come on. Charlie Fry. They go. Maybe the problem is somewhere else. I don't know. Charlie Fry's a former NFL quarterback. You don't think if they know the forecast calls for rain, you don't think he'd have to throw wet balls? Come on. I not buying
bro.
It.
We're talking about a whole bunch of unproven people at this job. None of these guys have ever been running offenses as successful coordinators or nothing like that. They're all newbies at this job, all of them. So I don't know.
No argument there.
I don't know. Yeah,
but again, I'm not Charlie Fry. I'm not looking at him as a coach. I'm looking at him as a former NFL quarterback who knows if you're heading into a game where there's the rains in the forecast, you want to be throwing wet balls during the week. So it would be. That might be my last appearance on the show if I ever find out that they didn't, because I might die of a heart attack on the spot. It would just absolutely floor me to no end.
Brother, we need you for long term here, okay? We just started this platform, all right? It needs to grow a lot more, okay? So relax, okay? Relax. We need you for a long time here, all right? You need to grow on this platform a lot more than just these appearances. More things need to be for Alain Poupart down the line. By the way, Yahweh Bula says, why did we triple reverse passes in the weather? That's actually a good point, man. You're doing all that kind of stuff in that funky weather.
Except, am I gonna get killed here for saying that the best spiral of the day belonged to Mike Gesicki?
Probably, yeah.
Then again, he threw it into triple coverage, but that's
right. It was a terrible pass.
And the other one,
strong arm. I get you.
No, it's like, man. No, I mean they were grasping at straws. I mean, they were looking for something to work offensively.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
Tua had to hear about Watson all year.
Mm-hmm.
So is Flo now going to have to hear about Harbaugh? Because that's Ross's boy. And now a report comes out of The Athletic that he might be considering going to the NFL. Although I think, he took a pay cut last year. I think it's just to tell Michigan, hey, give me my money back. That's what I think it is. Because I really don't think he's an NFL coach. He's so goofy. Harbaugh, John is built for men. Jim is kind of built for kids in a way, but that's just me. Your thoughts on that?
Two things. Number one, he went to the Super Bowl, so obviously he knows something about coaching. Number one, this isn't mine. Somebody made a great point. May have been Dan Patrick on his radio show this morning, and it's an absolutely great point that he stays at Michigan. He finally got the big Ohio State win out of the way. Do we really think it's going to become an annual occurrence, or do we think that the ass kicking is going to start again from the Ohio State? It may never get any better for him at Michigan. He may never have better leverage.
I agree.
So, and
I agree because in the end, he got his ass kicked by Georgia. So to me,
Correct.
just because you beat Ohio State, that doesn't mean jack to me, dude. Because the Big Ten, I don't look at it at the level of the SEC anyway.
No, correct.
So prove it to me that you can beat the real big boys. You know what I mean? So what Jim did this year, to me, it's almost like, dude, you've been there so long. It's only a matter of time with the talent that you're able to recruit to Michigan that you should be able to at least to win the Big Ten once every 7, 8, 10 years. Give me a break, brother. I mean,
Well,
I'm not
except Ohio State's kind of lapped them, though. I mean, it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be. I mean, they used to be on level playing field, and then Ohio State completely passed them. I mean,
Yep.
big time. And so, yeah, if Jim Harbaugh indeed has it in his mind that at some point he wants to get back to the NFL, he'll never have better leverage than he does now, and it's absolutely fair and to be expected that a whole bunch of people are going to write, tweet, talk about, is Stephen Ross going to make another push, because he's already gone after Jim Harbaugh before. So there's no reason to think, if he has any inclination of not retaining Brian Flores for next season. Yeah.
So the question is, would Chris Greer work with Jim Harbaugh, or would Jim Harbaugh want to work with Chris Greer? Is the question, and McKenzie and Alain, obviously, with that three-headed monster there. That's the question for me. If you're going to go after him, which, God, I think it would be a disaster, but whatever. That's the question. So does Jim bring his own general manager? Here's where, I know he got to the Super Bowl, but the two general managers he had in Seattle, in San Francisco, were monsters.
Trent Baalke,
Okay.
right?
No, Baalke came after. It was Schneider, who went to Seattle, and the gentleman that had the alcohol issues, who's he was in Washington. He helped build the Washington defense that they got there. Oh, dude, what's his name, bro?
Yeah, I know who you're referring to, but
he's an exceptional personnel guy, but he's had some demons, and that's kind of been his undoing at times. But people always hire him because he's phenomenal. I'm trying to remember somebody. Come on, man. We got hundreds of people on the chat board. Somebody help me out with the damn name. Somebody out in the West Coast, help me out with the name. McLaughlin.
Yeah, I think that's the name I had. Scott
McLaughlin or something.
Yeah,
those two guys were monsters. I think almost any coach would have gotten them pretty deep. That San Francisco team that didn't win a Super Bowl, for me, over the last 20 years, is one of the 5 most talented teams I've ever seen in the NFL. In the last 20 years. Okay? And that's saying a lot. Okay? That team was loaded, bro. Mm-hmm. They were McLaughlin or whatever, and Schneider were on a roll. They were hitting on so many draft picks. It was one of the great underachieving teams. All right, what are you working on SI so Dolphin fans can check you out as you get ready for the final week in the postseason?
Maybe a lot of the things we've been talking about. Brian Flores told us today when I asked him, because today the clock ran out on the practice window for Malcolm Brown, who will not be activated off IR. So basically his season is over after 6-7 games. And it just highlights again the running back neglect that this organization continues to do. And we talked about last time that, their best running back's a guy they picked up in the middle of the season because they failed to attach enough importance to that position. And I'm not somebody who bangs the table for a first round pick. I wasn't necessarily on the Najee Harris bandwagon that he needed to be picked at 18. But you have to have something. I mean, you can't have.
Well, they hit on Phillips. They hit on Phillips, so you can. A pass rusher is so much more important. So that's.
But at some point, second round, third round, maybe you get somebody like Ramondre Stevenson would have been a good pick this year.
I agree.
Fourth round, the guy looks pretty damn good.
Yeah,
but no, let's keep trying with guys like Myles Gaskin and Savon Ahmed. No offense,
No, I'm with you. Yeah, they definitely got to improve that area. Follow them on Twitter at Poupart NFL. And of course, like I always tell all of you out there while you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, Sports Illustrated, you go to the Dolphins page, bookmark it, because Poupart writes about 46 articles a day. So you'll keep up with everything going on with the Miami Dolphins. Alain, as always, thank you, my brother. We shall talk on Sunday.
Post game. Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You got it. There you go. Alain Poupart, baby, in our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.